All new tonight, despite having 25 sanctioned medical marijuana dispensaries in Hawaii, black market Pakalolo is still generating tens of millions of dollars in sales per month.
That's according to a new study that could be used by lawmakers wanting to legalize recreational marijuana to rake in more tax revenue. Our Ben Gutierrez is here now with the numbers.
The study commissioned by the health department says most medical marijuana patients are spending their money at legal dispensaries, but a lot more money is being exchanged through illegal sales. According to the analysis done for the health department, Hawaii's 30,000 registered patients spent more than $5 million a month at legal dispensaries. That made up almost 90% of the total spending for the drug.
Maybe you do buy from another source, maybe you do home grow, maybe you use hemp-derived cannabinoid products, but 87% of that patient's spending is likely to be in the regulated dispensaries.
The department says that shows the dispensary program is strong and is being used by patients. But far more was spent overall for marijuana, both legal and illegal. The study says users spent a total of $16.5 million to $32 million a month, 3 to 6 times the amount spent at dispensaries.
They even admit this is from illicit marijuana too. That's where they got their estimations from.
The analysis also predicts that if recreational use were legalized, it could result in more than $90 million a month in spending. The state legislature is considering measures to legalize recreational use, which would be regulated by the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, with sellers paying the state a 14% tax.
That does look like a lot of revenue coming into the state through taxes, but we want to be clear from a public health standpoint. There are public health issues that arise when you start to commercialize cannabis.
The Office of Medical Cannabis Control and Regulation says the potential revenue would be used to educate the public on how to use cannabis safely.
Things like substance abuse treatment, mental health services, comprehensive public education. And we also need to dedicate funding to workforce development in the burgeoning industry.
That is so hypocritical that you want to encourage recreational marijuana and use that revenue to help people get off the addiction of marijuana. It's absurd.
The legislation for legal recreational use would still require the voters to change the state constitution. You can read the full report. We have a link on our website. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.